Okay, I'm listening. Go on. Yes, I'm typing it all down.
Kia, clear, spilling tea, no fear, no fear. They talk loud, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. I don't lies right here. Spilling tea, no fear. I'm still here. Da 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 da. Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. They talk loud, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here. Yeah. Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. But I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here. Yeah. Make sure you subscribe to Lakeysha Keysha, my dear. Yeah. I'm still here, no fear. But I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here. Stretch words like
Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. Make sure you subscribe to the Lakeysha Keysha channel.
Okay, guys, we're going to get started. Happy Independence Day. I got the times mixed up, child. Y'all know I just, I don't be knowing if it's 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, or 2 o'clock. But Dwayne was so patient. He's going to join us now. Y'all, people have been sending me messages, and then Dwayne sent me some information, and I'm not going to say the person's name, but another person had been sending me stuff on TikTok. Because we're trying to figure out like what is really going on with this Karmelo Anthony case. And a lot of people are tying this U.S. Representative Pat Fallon. So I invited Dwayne on the show, y'all, and I'm going to bring him up in a second and we're going to get into it. Hey, Dwayne.
Hey, how you doing today, sis?
I'm good. Thank you for being patient. I looked at the time and I said, I sure did tell him 1 p.m. Eastern, but I be thinking my time, and I'm like, oh, shoot. But yeah, child, put that wig on and I'm ready to go. Happy 4th of July. And you had a birthday the other day, right?
Yes, ma'am. Had one on the 3rd, so yesterday.
Celebrate. Okay, good.
Oh, yeah.
So let's get into it. You sent me, and you know what? It's so crazy because it seemed like I be getting the same stuff and it be from different people because somebody else was sending me stuff. And I may have told you, I said, I'm getting some other stuff from some other people about the same person. And I was trying to tie it together. So when you sent me the stuff, and then I went and looked at my inbox, I was like, somebody else is sending me stuff. And so I was like, well, let's just do a live. Because I kind of understand what you're saying, but then the other person is saying the same thing. But I said, let me just invite you on. So basically, guys, what we're going to get into is simply what I just stated earlier. If you guys are in here, make sure you're liking the video. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. So basically, Pat Fallon is a U.S. representative, right, for the state of Texas. Is that correct?
Correct. He is. He's a congressperson is what he is, a representative for in the United States Congress for the state of Texas.
Right. So some of the information that I've been receiving is they're saying that his son, who I believe attends Memorial, is that correct?
Correct. He's actually going to be the starting QB, I believe, from what I'm seeing this season coming up. So he is actually on the track team as well. At Memorial.
Interesting. Okay. So what I've been hearing is that allegedly his son was possibly there at this time that this incident occurred.
Correct, and that's what we're trying to verify because of course, we're dealing with Frisco PD and the ISD, and they were leaving out and subtracting and adding and dividing information during this time of the Carmelo Anthony case. So we're trying to make sure, but he was on the roster for track at that time. Anthony Mendoza is another young person that was involved in this moment that they leave out as well. He was actually on the track team as well, but we're trying to make sure if he was there or not because he was suspended allegedly with the Twins as well, that they were serving their suspension and it's supposed to have been. And so I think he may or may not have been there as well. So these are people that we're trying to confirm that they were actually there that day, but he was supposed to be there. And based on the posts that we see on his social media, the reactions of his father on social media, it sounds like I think he was there, and we just have to verify.
Okay, so basically, and it kind of, well, I won't say it makes sense, but it makes us kind of understand just a little bit more what's going on, because if you are, you're a U.S. representative, you definitely don't want your child to be tied to such a thing as this sort of a thing where somebody passed away. So it brings a better opportunity for people to say, hey, let's get this, he did it. This boy did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let's start with, whatever information you have. I did want to start with this one because I thought this was very interesting. This one, oops, not that one. This one right here.
Yes.
And this is this is on social media, and you were like, some other people had sent me this, and
Correct.
Just look at this picture. It just goes to how these people just feel like they are so untouchable. And I also want to say this, Dwayne, I won't say I get, but I see a lot of comments that people, and I won't say people, I'm going to say the people who for some reason just hate Carmelo Anthony, and they make these comments as if they know for sure his appeal will not go through. Because what I sense they're trying to say is they have people in high places. So let's kind of jump in. I mean, because I know you saw this picture, and that's Sarah.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Know. So this is Sarah, by the way, guys. If you don't know, this is the lady who everybody, I won't say everybody, but a lot of at least people that were there to support Carmelo Anthony felt like this lady was harassing them. And this is also the lady who Neek, well, I won't say who Neek, but this is the lady who was posting weird stuff about Neek at Night on her social media. Remember, Neek at Night, I don't think she knew who she was like that, but she instantly started this thing with her. And then at one point, she allegedly had some guy with her that I guess allegedly had weapons, and they had like surrounded Neek's car. But what they were trying to do was intimidate her. They wasn't going to do shit. They just wanted to intimidate her. But this is Sarah, by the way.
Yeah, that is Sarah Jessica Fields. I forget her maiden name that she uses. But this is her. This is the pretend journalist is what she is. And she's an antagonist. She's a MAGA supporter. She's allegedly one of the Proud Boy secretaries in the Smith County, Tyler, Texas area. And so she has ties. All of her people that she was around during the trial, people that she deal with, even her lawyer, CJ Grisham, is a Proud Boy, and he's proud of it. And so all of these people are in the same circles. And for her to be so proud after the trial to be pictured with this congressperson, knowing that his son could have been there and a participant of the actual situation that they have covered up and allegedly kept out of the limelight on this, but his post and his emotions and the father's posts and emotions lead that he was there. And so for that to be now her there, knowing that her and Jeff allegedly, I'm gonna say, had hands in on the witnesses and potential witnesses that were from Memorial and other schools, this is just a sad situation to see, especially for a U.S. congressperson on our federal level, representing the state of Texas, to be involved in this type of moment And the questions are there. Was your son there? Was your son actually involved because of the pictures that we have showing that he's with the twins all the time? Why wasn't he deposed? All those questions start coming up. And now we have this link that Sarah, with her capacity, felt that she was just going to go ahead and post and say, hey, look, y'all, we all have ties.
Right. Yeah. And that's what I feel that was. Somebody said, now, I don't follow this guy, but I'm sure we can go back and look at, old stuff. Somebody said that guy posted justice served regarding the case. So we know. I don't
Correct.
know. Did you see anything like that?
I did. I seen that. People have, just like I've been sending stuff, people have been sending me all kind of stuff. And I do remember reading that post. That, like I said, he was, Mr. Fallon was, and I'm going to say Mr. only because he's a U.S. congressperson, but Mr. Fallon was invested in this case like he was Jeff Metcalf. So the same amount of emotion and the same amount of vigor that Jeff Metcalf was giving, this is what he was giving. And furthermore, people have to remember, during this trial last year, Sarah Fields was posting on her X, on her Facebook, and anywhere else that people would listen. She was saying that she's working to get a conviction in this case, not justice. It wasn't justice for Austin Metcalf. She says she's looking to get a conviction in time for Karmelo, and she knew it was going to happen. That's what she told me personally. So that's why I know in our conversations of her telling me just to leave, get away from Tiffany, and they'll stop coming after me. These are personal conversations I've had with Sarah. So I'm speaking personally on that moment. So I know that she only knew and wanted a conviction for Karmelo, and she knew it was going to happen. So you don't have that kind of confidence unless you have inside receipts.
Listen to this. I want you to hear this. Somebody put this in the chat. It's on his Facebook. He even dragged the black judge who lowered Karmelo's bond and told people no to vote for her.
Correct.
What?
Yeah, and here's the crazy part. Judge Tucker is a Republican. I'll say it again. She is a Republican. And so they drug her. Now, she was good until she did the right thing of lowering this young man's bond. And she still kept it higher than what she could have drugged. She could have lowered it to. And that woman was in hiding from that moment on because she received all kind of threats on her life. They doxed her. They did everything to this woman around. And now they went against her again. That's why she wasn't going to run again, from my understanding, because they said they were going to challenge her where she was running unopposed before. So it's like these people are just those type of folks that they will do these type of things.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, it's definitely something there because I didn't know anything about this guy, but it seemed like the people in the chat know because they said, yep, very, very, very interesting. So I'm looking at the screenshots that you sent me. I'm gonna put this one up. Well, not that one. This one, because this is one of the sun. So this is one of the sun, and it says Frisco Memorial High School.
Yeah, and if you look down under the likes, it's liked by Y2.Hunter, which is which is Hunter Metcalf. And so they are very close. They are very close. They keep up with each other. It's several photos. I got a photo dump from people last night of several photos of them in the pictures together, them liking each other posts, all these different things. So they are close in nature. And that's what we were trying to tell people in the beginning last year, that Jeff Metcalf, because of his North Texas MAGA connections, Republican MAGA connections, and his real estate ventures, him being a realtor, probably getting houses for most of these people, the cops, the Congress people, and everybody else. He's tied in deep into this community, and he knows a lot of dirt on a lot of people in this community and in Texas and North Texas. And so these people are willing to jump for him where they wouldn't necessarily jump for a normal Republican. And that's what we kept trying to tell people in the beginning. This was straight political. It was political, and it was about protecting those who actually did the crime. And it's just what that is. And so we see that now, that we see even the doctored video coming from the prosecution. You can still see that this was a cover up. because there's questions, and I said that last year, that I don't even think Karmelo even knows what happened because
And
he
that's
got
what
there so quick.
that's
Yeah,
what I
he got there so quick. And then we see Austin then get hit himself, and then we see him go down. So that means that somebody else did it. And
right.
so it's a moment to where who did it and why are they covering it up? So again, Congressperson, where was your son?
Right.
Was he there? Was he participating? Those are
Right.
questions that have to be answered because now we know, because Sarah, that's your homegirl. Your homegirl put you in the limelight because she can't shut up and she can't be still.
Right. Because
Yeah,
it's almost like they want you to know we can do whatever we want to do. Okay. We
correct,
can do
correct.
whatever we want to do. Because I'm gonna be honest, when I went into this thinking that he did it and that we're just gonna go through the trial because he said that it was because he was attacked or he felt whatever was going on. But then when I seen the video, I'm like, I don't know who did it. Like this don't
Yeah,
show who did it. Like I understand that he said self-defense, but then I also understand you can't claim self-defense unless you say you did it. So I'm like,
yeah,
I don't look like that to me. So I mean, this makes, I mean, listen, it's something is going on. I mean, because I think as
yeah,
we have thought that there is definitely something in terms of higher power that's pulling some strings. Something is happening that we
yeah,
don't, but we know it's happening. And we
yeah.
know
Because if
as a U.S. representative and a politician, you can do a lot of stuff. So you see what
yes,
I'm saying? So yeah, I believe that this
and that's
missing puzzle.
and that's where you look at Mike Howard, and like I keep telling people, Mike Howard came on this job. He went into that bond hearing, and he did his thing. He did his job, like he said. I think he started to work on getting this case dismissed, and then that fateful meeting happened at Frisco Courthouse out there in McKinney, Texas, at Collin County, and he met with Greg Willis and whoever else, and that man's whole attitude about this case changed. And I believe that he operated like he operated because he knew that he couldn't do nothing, but he knew that he had to do everything possible that he could to give Karmelo a fighting chance after the fact. Because I think he knew the fight was fixed, and there was nothing he
Right,
could do
right,
because they only presented just 5 or 6 photos, and that's it. They
right,
talked to a couple people and they rested.
right. There, somebody just put something in the chat, and I know this because I'm into real estate too. I'm in real estate. They need to start looking at every one of Jeff Metcalf's home sales to verify all the connections.
Correct. And we're going to try to do that. We're going to try to do that. If anybody in the public, if you want to, just go. You can start putting in FOIA requests, put in PIR requests to the state, to the realtors, people to get that information. You can start looking. You can start asking the actual real estate companies that he worked for as well for those connections as well, because some of them will be forthcoming. You can also look, actually just doing simple Google searches on county tax records and finding out who the sales team was and all that kind of stuff as well. We do need to really get and dig deep and dive deep because we
Right,
know that he has too many connections from the Frisco PD saying on that report that he's known to the Frisco Police Department. All those things, there's just a lot of connections in that web that people were scared to do the right thing, and that's to speak the truth. So we definitely need to dive into it and find out.
doesn't he work for Keller Williams or Keller? Who does he work for? I thought I saw Keller Williams.
Keller
Which
Williams is actually the one I think that Wesley Farrell actually worked for. And that's the guy that Tiffany Billions used that knows Jeff Metcalf. I think he's with the Keller Williams out of Fort Worth. Wesley Farrell is. I think
Okay,
Jeff was with a place that's out in Austin, if I remember right. They're kind of more so in that area of Texas, but he was operating here in the Fort Worth, the DFW area.
okay.
I forget the name of them, but let me go and look and see if I have it because I
The,
know I had
the
it
reason
somewhere.
the reason why I asked is because he's not a broker. He works for a broker, so that means he's a realtor.
Correct.
So let's say you called and you said, I'm looking to work with him, but I'm just trying to see, like, I want to see like how many properties have he sold in the last 3 to 5 years. So that information is available. You know, you can definitely ask for that information, seeing that he is a realtor. So that means he works for somebody. He's not a broker, so he's not the boss. So that information can definitely be available. It can be available.
Now his license is not active as of last year, so he's not practicing as of last year. But anything further or back past that, then yes, he would have it. But he has not sold a house or been publicly transacted as a realtor since last year, because it has been revoked, or it's not active. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, it's probably that almost 700,000 of that GoFundMe, 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐿 money. I guess it must be nice.
And he did have some legal action, that they did have a legal suit against him and his realtor partners that was uncovered as well. Yeah, so he's had a lot of trouble that they've been trying to cover up over the past decade.
So it could be that he got disciplined and he can't practice. So you may want to look into that. Because you know what? I believe somebody did tell me something like that. I just don't remember, because I'm like, if it ain't concerning Karmelo, I really didn't care. But I think it was something happened as it relates to his license. I just don't remember.
Correct.
So something happened, and it could be that he's not practicing because he was disciplined. So when you're disciplined, they may say you can't practice for 2 years, or, you know, they'll give you different reasons as to, or different, you know, whatever, whatever, 2 years, they may say a year. So that could be the reason why he's not practicing. But this is very interesting, because I think we have all learned that it is something deeper. I mean, you're not giving him no damn 35 years. Even if he did do it, you know what I mean? Nothing about the case makes sense. Even the judge acted funny. He's still acting funny. We can just almost tell that it's something deeper going on here. We can almost Black folks, we know we used to this shit, but we know that something definitely is not right. Now, it's very interesting that this man is on his social media saying justice is served. What other representative or, you know, person that's out in a, you know, like that, especially as a congressperson, that's putting that on his social media, and then saying things about the judge. The judge only did her job. Like, Karmelo did not have a background. He'd never been in jail before. She did what she was supposed to do as a judge, as a Republican judge.
That's correct. And just to go back to what Jeff, his last place that he did work for was Keller Williams. I'm looking at the listing on Zillow right now, and it showed him, and it shows the houses that he sold as well. His listings up to the moment, and this is probably his current moment up to. But his license is not active at this point, but they do still have him listed. And this is his actual current look of him, who he is right now. So so Keller Williams is his last place that he was listed with.
Right. I know. I remember seeing it. I just, like I said, I just didn't dwell on it, because I don't remember if somebody shared it with me, but I do remember that something happened to him as it relates to his license. Something did happen. So that's, and see, with that is public information, but you would have to get that from whatever the governing board is for realtors down where you live. You can get that information. It's public. You just have to reach out to them. Yeah, you can. And
right now I'm looking at a lot of the reviews that have given him 4.0. People forget those names are on the reviews on Zillow. So if you just go to Zillow, Jeff Metcalf right now, and look at the reviews, I'm looking at some of the names. I'm like, I'm not gonna mention them now, but one of them is this. Yeah, one of them
was racist.
Yeah, one of them right now is January the 13th, 2025. They said they've been working with Jeff for nearly a year now, and they bought a house from him in Sherman, Texas. So their names are on here, so you can look up their properties. You can chase it down and see if it goes back to any of these other people as well. But it's on there on Zillow right now.
Right, but yeah, like I said, there is more information, because I looked at his reviews, And somebody was on there saying that if you're black, don't work with him. It was a lot of stuff. You got to keep looking. It's on there.
Correct. Correct.
If you guys just joined, make sure you are liking the video. If you have a question and you want me to read it, just super chat it. And make sure you guys are liking the video. But yeah, he has some very interesting reviews because like I said, I had started reading it and it was just, I was like, okay, this is interesting. But I mean, it was basically saying that he was a racist. That's what they were saying. It was
we actually spoke to a realtor, a black young man that's in the DFW area last year, and he had worked with Jeff, and he said Jeff was a bully. He said he bullied him through the whole transaction. It was a moment to where the client changed from Jeff to him, and so of course they had to still share the fee because Jeff was on it, but Jeff was really condescending to him, very racist toward him, and he bullied him through the whole process and bullied his client. And the guy spoke to us about it. And so that's a grown man, that's a realtor, speaking on their dad, how his character was. And it was the same behavior of the twins.
And you know what? I can see why he's, like you said, his license, if they're inactive, they're inactive industry. That's not going to work. Yeah, that behavior won't work because it's relationship based. So if people don't want to work with you, good luck.
Correct.
It won't work. But yeah, as you read his reviews, you'll see some very interesting things. Because somebody was, I think it was a couple. They were saying it was a couple different reviews. They said, if you're black, don't even waste your time with this guy because he don't seem to lie. I was like, wow. Let me read this super chat. Right. All these raccoons that thought it wasn't this deep and devious, hope they starting to feel real foolish at 𝐼𝐸12. Yeah, I mean, we are not giving up on this. We gonna listen. We have not we, but they put a 19-year-old in prison for 35 years. Hell to the no. We're not letting this die. We just started. I said, listen, I'm resting because next week I'm kicking ass. Okay. Next week I'm lining up my interviews. I got another attorney coming on next week. We ain't playing. We're not playing.
Correct.
We're playing. Now, what else did I want to ask you? So from what you believe, allegedly, is that this U.S. Representative Pat Fallon's son could have been there at the time that what's his name? Austin passed away.
Correct. Based on people looking at photos, and we're deep diving through the photos of all the people that were there that day, some of the images from the video feed itself, to see if we could find his face, because he has a distinct face. So at the end of the day, we should be able to see him and know that he was there. So once we get that connection, then we'll be able to identify that he was there that day. We're trying to get the active roster from that day, because remember, they stopped that day and they replayed everything at Lobo Stadium in Little Elm on the 7th. So, and then Karmelo was still on the list to participate, to be honest with you. So I think if he bailed out, he could have still ran. And so, but we need to go back and see and make sure and see if young Fallon had participated on the 7th, see if he participated in any of the meets before that. But he was actively on the roster as a track athlete. And we do know that he had ties with the family. And we know from his dad and their posts that was a possibility. But from what we hear, and that's just what we hear from people who were there, they're saying that, yes, he was there. What capacity, I don't know. And so I want to make sure that we verify that, because right now it's alleged, because we want to make sure we verify. And once we verify it, then you better know we're going to put it out there, because that ties the congressperson deeper, because right now he's tied in, because he's made statements. He's not just said what a loss, we lost a young man or whatever. He has spoken like Jeff Metcalf, the same verbiage, the same information. They have a script, and they've all spoken the same script, from Sarah to Jeff to Tiffany Billions to all of them. They've all said the same script at all times. And so that tells me they're all connected. And we just want to make sure we make the connections so they all get the same just dessert when it's time for them to reap the benefits of what they've sown.
Right. Which would,
Yeah.
I mean, I got to start paying attention to him because I mean, I wasn't, but you know how this social media thing works. You can't really delete nothing. It's still there. So
Correct.
it will still be there. But the fact that he is, you know, sharing these same talking points does kind of make you wonder why, you know what I mean? Because if
Yeah.
your son was there, then you remember we kind of talked about, I don't think it's more so of, finding out who did it, but to make sure they say he did it, because if he did it,
Correct.
it's closed. They're not looking for anybody else. As long as if Karmelo didn't do it, then who did? You know, so if
Correct.
he's in prison, then we can forget about it. He did it. We got the person. But judging from that video that I saw, I don't know. Like, I don't, I'm not saying that he, you know, Karmelo couldn't have picked up something, but if he did, it was something that was already there. But I don't believe that his, if he had a weapon, I don't believe that it was it would have been the one that would have unalived this boy, which kind of goes to the point of they don't want to release the autopsy. When have you ever heard of a case over and the autopsy is sealed? That doesn't make any sense.
None. And I just a couple of days ago, a few days ago, was actually speaking with them on that very subject, because I put in a FOIA request or PIR request back in April of last year for the toxicology report and the ME report, and they told me at the time that it wasn't correct, it wasn't ready yet. So once it became ready, they told me we're going to send it. Then all of a sudden they were like, well, because of the investigation, we can't send it. Do you want to wait until after the case is over and we can send it, or do you want to close it and redo it? I said, no, I'll wait. So when it's done, just send it to me. When it was done, they didn't. And so we just had that conversation about that and send it up to the AG's office to make determination, because he hasn't made a new ruling on it yet. So they just did a fresh statement of what they feel, the reasons why it shouldn't be. And I'm getting ready to file a brief on to why it should be released. And we're going to see what the AG has to say. So I'll probably get that done probably by Wednesday of this week. So that way we can get what we need to have. The thing is this: it's not uncommon for them to block information or the flow of information on the case. Normally it's because they're hiding something. That's the only reason why. Usually if someone is guilty of something and they proved it, they're going to release everything to you. So that way you can see what they said they did. And in these instances, they hide because they know they did something crazy, and it ties back to people that we're not even talking about. And so that is what this case is about. And like I told them, I'm going to make sure that everyone who did harm to Karmelo Sincere Anthony and to the Anthony family, I'm going to make sure that they're exposed, because I know for a fact of a lot of these people that had their hands in it. Some of them I can't speak to right now because I haven't physically tied them to it. But I know for a fact that they were tied to this moment of railroading Karmelo as a scapegoat for the people who really did crimes that day. And so, and that's what the importance is of us doing what we're doing now, and for the people digging and diving and not being afraid. The Proud Boys were out there at that courthouse to do nothing but intimidate. And we showed them that we don't even care about you enough to even look your way. And they understood then that it was a different moment. So they only did that little beef thing with the people that they could, because they didn't come our way with that drama. And when they did, we shut it down real quick. And so the same thing goes for this moment. I don't care who you are. You can be the Cheeto in chief, or you can be a congressperson. If you did harm to Karmelo Sincere Anthony and you got your hands in it, I'm going to make sure that you meet your day in court, and that you can see what the behind bars look like on the federal side and state side, because there's a lot of crimes that were committed. And when you do this type of stuff, even if it's a misdemeanor, it becomes a felony because you conspired to put somebody away into TDCJ for 35 years, and it becomes a felony for you. So guess what? They better start talking and telling on each other, because when that time comes, I'm going to make sure that everybody knows, because at the end of the day, they did Karmelo wrong. They put this family in a position that they should never been in, all because of political gain and money that they were making and being promised. That's what this thing is about. Because you didn't want them lily white kids to go to jail, and those other kids, the black kids and whoever else was involved, you didn't want them to go to jail for what they did. So you felt that Karmelo was a good sacrifice and he could just go on and nobody cared. But guess what?
Right.
We care.
Right. And actually what they committed was RICO. That was organized crime. That
Correct. Correct.
That wasn't other than RICO. That is exactly what they committed. Everything they have said about this case was dumb and it don't make no sense. First, Karmelo took the blade out of his so wait a minute. So let's just think about this. He took the blade out and then zipped it back up. That don't make sense.
Yeah. And then he threatened them. He threatened them with it, but the guy said that we didn't think he had nothing. It's like both of them can't be true.
Well, think about this. Remember, they said they used the book bags to cover up to put something out. The book bag was so okay. So Karmelo took it out, zipped it back up. Nothing about this shit makes sense, and it's irritating to the point. Who did you think was this damn dumb? Like none. You don't even have to go to law school, and you're gonna be like, well, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. Nothing makes sense. Absolutely nothing makes sense. Nothing. And
then the knife that was sitting there that they took a picture of, it's two different knives because they're two different shades of color. They're both camo, but one is a darker green camo, the other one is the lighter green camo. And it's like they're the same knife. So that means that somebody bought it for some people that look alike. I'll just put it that way. And but they're two different knives and they're both sitting there in the same position. So it's like, what are y'all trying to do? Y'all think we're that stupid? And then you go to court and you don't present neither one of them. You have a replica and you say because you didn't have no gloves, you didn't want to bring the actual weapon that was used that day. It's like this case has been the epitome of stupidity. That's what this has been. And so, and you just expect for us to just take it and go home and go to sleep.
Exactly. And you made a great point. What trial have you ever watched where they had the murder weapon, but they say, oh, we're not bringing it because we don't want to touch it? I have never in my life heard of no shit like this. Yeah. You don't bring a murder weapon. The autopsy is not available. So how we know the damn boy is dead? Now I'm starting to wonder we have to prove your case beyond a reasonable doubt. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Somebody put in the chat, is the autopsy and is the death certificate the same thing? Well, autopsy is a little bit more in detail than a death certificate. Yes. Yeah. So,
and I think some people were trying to get the death certificate, and I don't know if they had success or not. I'm going to have to check back with them. And that's supposed to be an easy thing to get.
So I don't think we can get a death certificate. Is usually to family. So you just can't get that. But an autopsy, you can. You can't just go get somebody's death certificate. You have to have some kind of relation to them.
And I think the people that were trying to get it, they have relationship or they have standing. Let me put it that way. People forget that in these type of moments, everything legal is about standing. If you have standing in something, then you have right to receive information. And the way that they did this case, these people are so ignorant that they gave multiple people standing in this case. They did it. We didn't do it. They did it. So when they started making all these rulings to cover up evidence and to keep us from public information, they gave a lot of people standing. And so where normally we wouldn't get information or be privy to some information, now we're privy to it because of litigation and just having standing. And so that is where they made the legal mishap and problems that they brought on themselves because this was sloppy. It was just sloppy. And there's too many legal minds that was attached to this for them to be this sloppy that people like us that don't have law degrees and maybe just studied a little bit of law, we can go in and run circles around them because they were sloppy. And so, yes, yeah.
You know what I also feel like? I feel like they need to get somebody else to look at the body. Because can we believe what they say? I feel like they need to get an independent autopsy. You understand what I'm saying? Because something just doesn't, it just doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? I've heard people say and I don't know if this is true, but some people have said that he died from something else and that the cut was secondary or something like that.
Yeah. And that's the thing, because I think they did ask the ME when they were testifying, could this be possible the cause of death? And they said yes, that it could have been from other things. So for ME to tell you that a 17-year-old kid that's at a stadium for track, that's supposed to be in the tip-top shape of their life at the time, that this person was stabbed, but there could be another possible cause of death, that's a problem. That's a red flag, because at that point in time, your only cause is whatever the complications are from that stab. So if you're telling me on the stand that, yeah, there could be another possible cause, but then they're looking at you like, but I can't tell you, that means that we're sealing up information for a reason, because they did not introduce the ME report. They did not introduce the toxicology report, but they just introduced the testimony of the actual ME. That tells me that's cover up, because usually those are some of the first things that go into the evidence is the actual report.
Right. And I don't know if I'm correct, because I really don't remember. At some point, this stuff starts to run together. But I thought that somebody, was it the medical examiner, testified? But if I'm correct, did he not? I don't believe he actually said that this is why he died. But do you remember what he testified to? Because I don't remember the exact verbiage. But if I'm correct, he didn't say that, yeah, he died because he was stabbed. But I thought there were other things introduced.
Correct. They kept it bland. I guess the word I'll use. They kept it bland and in the middle, because guess what? They never introduced the ME report, because if they did, we can get a copy of it. So they just went off of conjecture of what he thought, and he stayed in the middle. And so Austin could have died from anything that day. Asthma attack, allergy attack, anything. But he kept it that way. And I think the defense asked him the question, but could he have died from something else? Yes, that's what they basically said. And
That's it. Stay right there, Dwayne. And here's the deal. I have an uncle that was stabbed to death. Nowhere did they say he died from anything. He was stabbed. You see what I'm saying?
He was stabbed. Yeah.
You say, oh, no, it could. That's not right. People are saying that boy allegedly overdosed.
Yeah, and that's what the kids there said. They saw him taking pills that morning. And it makes sense, because we saw two kids throw stuff in the trash can, and we seen two more come back to retrieve said information in the trash can. So it makes sense that there was a lot of everything. And look at his body. His dad and mom not built like that. And so he had to do some things to get himself bigger than what his twin was. And so there's all kind of allegations that boy was on stuff, doing stuff. And the way that he bled out, it makes sense that his system was hyper at the time, because there was a lot of fluid coming out that man's body into that jacket that should not have been from a stab wound, because your body is trying to stop that bleed while it's going on. So it's a natural reaction. And so you're either going to do it internally, because the body now has closed it off, or it's going to be everywhere. And when I say everywhere, it's going to be everywhere. And that's not what we saw. Everything was inside that jacket and enclosed. And that wound, the way it looked, it actually looked like it was stretched out rather than the actual original wound that a knife would cause. And that's just from my own experience of seeing some of those wounds every now and again in the military. They're normally not stretched out like that. And that wound was stretched out.
Yes. I heard that as well. What is your take on, Dwayne, as it relates to these weapons? Because I thought I heard somewhere where they said the size of the wound, if I'm saying this correctly, did not add up for the weapon that they say that was used. That the
Correct.
wound was, I don't recall if it was the size. I think it was the size of the wound, but it just didn't add up. And I'm just like, this story just doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? To charge somebody with murder, but miss so many marks that just are questionable, that just doesn't add up. But to get a conviction is just crazy.
Yeah, when you look at the wound itself, which I was trying to look for the picture right now, the the weapon that was used is well, I don't want to show it. I don't know if YouTube gonna trip or not, but it's a tool. And
Mhm.
so the way that they're made for you to do multiple things with. Pop bottle caps, cut seat belts, cut break windows, all that stuff. And the one that they showed is kind of one of the ones I had. It's black just like it. And I carry it all the time. And so what they do if they do enter a body or an animal or something like that, they're designed just to just work that privy. They will actually break on you because they're not made as the other type of knives would be the hunting knives and stuff like that. So to apply that type of pressure, to have the type of wound that we came up with on Austin, is that that knife would not be the type of thing that would cause it. And that's why I said just a moment ago, that wound was stretched out. So I don't know who stretched it. I don't know what they did, but that is not an entry wound that a knife or a tool of that size, which is a blade under 5.5. So this one is probably about 3.5 inches long. It looks like it was broken because it wasn't in this full upright position. Because these knives are made when you open them up, and if you don't fully erect them, then they come out to a 90-degree angle, and
Right.
that's where they lock. They're made to lock there, and they're not made to be where that one is.
Dwayne, stay right there where you were. So I'm glad you mentioned that. You mentioned something about the weapon not being locked or something about locking out.
Yeah,
Next week, I'm trying to get this attorney to come on. We're going to agree to the time. Now he has some more information. And he was actually stating that the weapon was actually locked or something. So there's a bunch of
yeah.
inconsistencies that
Can
just
can we show can we show one on YouTube?
show what?
Show a tool just like the one that they say was in the.
I think I have it. Wait a minute. I think I have
Well,
it in my. Give me a second.
I have one right here in my hand, so I was
Oh,
going
you
to
do?
show it on the live.
Go
Yeah.
ahead. Go ahead.
So right here is this. See this?
Oh,
This is actually locked in this position of what
right.
it's supposed to be. Remember, the one that was on there was kind of locked in this position. And if you see, I'm pressing it down, but it's going back because
Right.
it has a mechanism. And so it would never be in this position because
Right.
unless it's broken, that's
Right.
where it's going to be. This is where it goes to, and then once it's fully in its position, it's here. And
Okay.
so if you look at if you look at it, if you put this in someone, it's going to make that size of a wound. It's
Right.
not going to be a wound that you're going to have that's going to be the same size as this.
Right.
And if you look at the picture, the wound on Austin is really in a position to where you've been sliced, and now the skin is kind of filleted out, and then you have opening on the inside. So that doesn't give me that someone poked you, because remember they're saying that Karmelo did one single poke and got away, is what they alleged. And that is not what that wound is they showed us. And that's why I told you that wound looks stretched out, like someone stretched it out to go get something out of it rather than it just being a puncture. And so the evidence just don't fit what they're saying happened. But what we saw on the video that they provided with us, it actually makes sense that that wound looked the way it did, because Austin got punched and pushed, and then he fell backwards and over. So he could have fell on the thing while it was in him. And that's why it broke, because it's in a broken position sitting on that bleacher. And if you because I have the photo as well from the actual evidence, and this is the broken position of this
Right.
this weapon.
Right.
That's the broken position. And so for it to have that position right there, that means that he fell on it
Right.
because it broke.
Right. Yeah, and there was those theories as well. So it's just a lot of missing information. It's just something just doesn't
Yeah.
add up. Just I feel like they're trying to. Well, they have made this stick to just he did it, move on, but
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
it doesn't add up. It does not.
And
add up.
that's why you hear Sarah and all these other people on that side trying to convince people that no, he's not going to get his appeal. Don't worry about it. Move on with your life. They're doing that for a reason. And they're actually, even yesterday, they actually tried to make a fake page of one of the attorneys on Facebook and state that he made some stupid comment so that they can throw him off the legal team. And so my immediate moment when I heard about it was to go first. Let me go look at all his social medias and see if they even match. And he has two pages on each platform, on X, on Instagram, and Facebook. One is for him, one is for his business. And neither one of them matches that. But when you go to that page and you start clicking on the different sites that they tell you to take you to, they go to nothing. So someone created that page just to make it look like him to try to get him off, because this is an excellent attorney and he's an excellent civil attorney, and the man gets results. And so they're scared and they don't know what to do, because they know on the civil side is what usually brings criminal action against those who did wrong toward the person that they're trying to get the justice for. And they're trying to get those people out the way. So there's just a lot of misinformation that these folks are doing. And from what I'm looking at from yesterday to today, there are some of the same people that put this misinformation out that Sarah Fields and Tiffany Billions and other people like that use constantly to spread misinformation. And they're the same people. They use the same group of folks on all these things. And that's what it's leading back to them. And so we just have to be diligent and vigilant that we're going to keep moving forward and keep fighting for justice, whatever that may look like, and not worry about what these people are trying to distract us of.
Absolutely. And another two idiots that they use is that damn Megyn Kelly and that other crazy lady. What's her name? They put her name in the chat. What's that crazy white lady name that had them folks, that man unalive, or that woman unalive themselves, and her ass got fired? What's that woman name?
I forget her name.
Y'all know who I'm talking about, but they do videos about this. They are Karmelo haters. I can't remember her dang on name, but she is definitely Megyn Kelly and that other lady. I cannot remember that woman's name.
Is that Jane Shapiro or whatever her name is?
She's an older white lady. She used to be on television, but they say she got fired because she had went after somebody and the person unalived themselves, and she ended up getting sued. I cannot think of that lady's name. They put her name in the chat, but they are haters. They definitely are haters. Somebody says Sarah Fields, her too, but this lady has a large following on YouTube. I just can't think of her damn name. It'll come to me. It will come to me. But the reason, so it made me remember, because I remember they said that he had put out that tweet, and then they said, he deleted it. And they said this had happened a few days ago. And then I see Sarah saying, oh, looky here, his own attorney doesn't believe in him. And then when I reached out to somebody, they reached out to somebody that said, yeah, that's fake.
Yeah, because they had, when Sarah put that post out, they had just posted it 2 hours before Sarah put it out. And so that's how you know that because Sarah did this before last year, when they knew that Judge Roach was going to allow cameras in the courtroom. So Sarah put out a post saying that Judge Roach is stepping down immediately because Carmelo Anthony supporters are doxing him and threatening him. And so we immediately, within 10 minutes, called the court and we verified Nancy Grace. That's who it is. Nancy Grace. Yeah. And so we verified immediately that that she was lying. She just ran on by her business, because they don't care whether it's truth or fiction, because most people are going to read it and believe it. And that's kind of what happened here, is that they put the post out, don't care that it's fake or not. They just know that most people are not going to take the time to do their due diligence, and they just going to believe it and be like, oh, if Carmelo Anthony's, if his attorney said it, it must be true. But you got to go and always do your research and get facts.
And you know what? Sometimes I play dirty like that too, because I know that's what they do. I do that too. Y'all want to play
dirty?
It
works. It works. It
Yeah,
works. And sometimes you could do it just in asking the question, did
right,
such and such do this? Because it's
right,
not defamation. And you know good well they didn't do it. But just to get them off their game, you go ask that question. And those are the games that's played in this space. But you got to be able to recognize that, call it out, and move forward. And so,
right,
and that's kind of what Sarah and all those people are doing, you know, trying their best to destroy the team because that team ain't said a word. They're just
right,
out there working. And
right.
so, and that's where we come in.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And see, for me, I don't make up lies, but I don't correct them either. So when I like, if I don't, if
yeah.
like, you know, them, y'all care, fix your own stuff. I'm never going to
Yeah.
help you. But yeah,
Correct,
the
correct.
lies, and that's why I said I'm going to do a video later to let people know that they are lying because I know Megyn Kelly did a video about it. It's like, oh, look at his lawyers. And, you know, you're spreading misinformation. You're spreading
Yeah,
lies. Those are people that they use to spread lies. And it's very irritating. And that's why I say, okay, since their platform is bigger than me, I just do more videos. I'll just do more
yeah,
lives. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't like it and it's not fair. Those women, Megyn Kelly, although she probably don't like black people, that woman is far from stupid. She knows how a trial is supposed to be conducted. Come on, lady. But because
correct.
he's, she doesn't care.
Yeah, that's true. And they don't care. So at the end of the day, their mindset is they got what they wanted. And instead of them going somewhere and sitting down, they're taking victory laps at the victory lap. And they're helping us get the information we need and the evidence to put them in jail for RICO. That's what they're doing because they did Karmelo wrong. That young man didn't do anything but make it home to his mom and his daddy. That's all he did.
Right.
And the greater sin in this thing is that all these adults, from the administration to people in the government to Jeff Metcalf, Megan Metcalf, and Hunter, they all know exactly what happened.
They know what
And
happened.
and they are willing to continue this charade of walking around acting like nothing happened, but what they said Carmelo did. And that's the
Right.
sad part is that we've lost our human touch that much to where
That's
we can take that stand. And we even gave him an exit ramp. And I told him directly, Jeff Metcalf, if you bring Hunter forward and you call a press conference and he tells the truth, we'll come stand with you and we'll make sure as a community that he don't do no time because you already lost one twin and we can get Carmelo cleared and we can move forward as a community. That was given to him directly. I said on social media, I reached out to him, but no, not him. Mr. Supposed to be Christian. He said, no, Carmelo is the one that's guilty. Okay, cool. You want to play that game? Then we're going to make sure that all of y'all get into a position to where your sin is going to find you out.
right. Let me read a couple of these super chats. The secret. Y'all, some of these names, y'all, I don't know what y'all be trying to do, honey. The secret tick, I guess. Thank you for your super chat. Dwayne has all the tea. Clock it. Bridge smooth. Thank you for your super chat. Who do we have? Torch Live. That's what I was saying. Dude fell on the knife, which means he was moving forward to attack Carmelo. Yeah, so the thing too, guys, is think about you playing something to do whatever it was hopefully you ain't planning no shit like this, but think about you playing to do something to somebody else and it got done to you. You must feel real dumb. You must, because I
Yeah.
honestly believe that was going supposed to be Carmelo. That's just what I believe. I think that that was going to be Carmelo. It just didn't work out that way. No fingerprints to confirm who had handled the weapon. Exactly. Nothing. I've never heard of a case like this. Thank you for your super chat. Monica, Angela Morris, thank you for your super chat. But yeah, the whole case is a sham and we own their ass. See, one thing about us black
Yeah.
folks, one thing we like to do is look shit up and investigate and put stuff together. See, that is what they failed to realize about us, you know.
Yeah.
And in this particular case, everybody is, interested, lawyers. And here's the deal too. I know they want to make it a black and white issue, but in all honesty, they made it like that. We didn't make it like that. But in all honesty, there are some good white people, just like there's some good black people. All white people ain't like how these folks is doing. Everybody not like that. So even some
Correct.
of them are like, you know what, this is not. You know what I mean? This is not right. So everybody ain't like these old folks that's trying to put, the black boy in jail. Everybody not like that. Because even this attorney that I found over there on TikTok, I was very interested in. Hopefully he'll join us next week. Because he's also a Carmelo Anthony supporter as well. As an attorney, you should be able to see things from a right and a wrong perspective and not just be like, oh, he black. Oh, he'll be fine. I mean, are you serious? 35 years? Come on now. Folks is planning to take folks off the planet and they probably barely get 35 years. That wasn't
Correct.
fair. The sentence was not fair. It wasn't at all.
At all. And that's the sad thing about it, is that they know it wasn't. And that's why they rushed out and did their interviews and victory laps, because they thought that would be enough to make us as the black community just say, okay, let's move to the next thing. They just don't understand who we are and what we do and what we stand for as a people. Yes, we make mistakes. We do everything just like everybody else. We got shiesty folk. We got crazy folk. We got smart people just like anybody else. But what we are is resilient, and we're nosy by nature. And if you give us the wrong opportunity, we're going to be all up in your fruit, and we're going to find out everything you did, because we are nosy. We want to know the tea. And so at the end of the day, we're going to find it out. And when we do, you're going to know about it, because we're going to tell you about it.
And giving us little information or wrong information, we're going to figure the shit out. So you might as well just give us the real stuff so we can go on about our business. Like giving us a video where, and also too, now that his kids allegedly was there, we can now understand why they done blotted out everybody's faces. What's the purpose of that?
Yeah.
When they show these videos all day on TV and they're not blotting out the faces. So what would be the purpose of blotting out the faces? I don't understand.
Because we got to remember the young man that got shot in the back, that was in the store, the 14-year-old, they showed him the entire time. He's 14. They showed him the entire time on every video, in court, on TV, everywhere. But it's about the kids, right? It's about protecting the kids and their images. They had one that a lady in Collin County, she was at a preschool. That woman threw that little kid all over the place, sat there with the little kid. They released that video themselves. Collin County did. And so there are times that we've seen kids being shown at all times. And guess what? When you sign your kid up for athletics, parents, when you sign your kids up for athletics in the state of Texas and across this nation, they become amateur athletes. They have no presumption of privacy at that point, because they're eligible for NIL. They're eligible for all these different benefits of money and everything else. They do not have any moment of privacy anymore until they get back home. And so people have to understand that. So for them to make that argument, knowing that, they were really just putting smoke up people's faces. And it was people like Sarah and Tiffany that kept blowing that smoke. Oh, they did it because they have to make sure their faces can't be seen. No, they show these kids all day, every day, at every event that they go to for free. And you don't even have to ask for it.
Right. My son used to play football. They filming you all the time. So the fact that they said that, now it's kind of making sense, because if I'm a U.S. state representative, first of all, we ain't finna be in no bullshit like this, but I can understand now, while it's just systematic, like everybody is just doing this cover up thing. And if you look at it like this, some of those kids are actually grown now. You see what I'm saying? But the fact that they're saying we can't show their faces, you're at a public sporting event. There is no privacy here. So you're right. Hey,
Kirkendall Stadium has a whole YouTube page. I don't know if it's still operating or not. They may have taken it down, but they show every kid's face. I'm talking about they had kids in elementary school up there plotted on every video that they had. Where was the privacy then? There was none. And so, like I said before, if they would have just came forward and said, these are the facts. Hey, community, this is what happened. They would have had every black person standing up there saying, you know what, leave Hunter alone. Let's move forward. Let's get this thing going. They've already said that Hunter and them accidentally did it, or however they did it, and got his brother up out of here. They leave Karmelo alone. Karmelo's at home with his family. We can all get counseling, go and heal. If they would have did that, it wouldn't even be a problem. But because they have the caucasity to always cover up and always do the evil work, that's why we are right now.
I want to address this comment. They thought no one cared about Karmelo, and because he and his family didn't have any money. So let me just correct you on that. His family did have money. They were not poor. As you know, any family, if you or somebody in your family is charged with a crime like that, that is, a large amount for an attorney. So they started the fund for attorney fees, but they did have money, and that seemed to be the problem here. They were running around with these lies, saying that they used the money to buy this. Everything that they had, the car, the rental, they were saying that they had bought a house. It was a rental. It was a nice house. All the lies. They already had money. So it wasn't that they didn't have money. I mean, I probably couldn't afford to pay for a murder charge with a lawyer. That's a lot of money. You're talking about $500,000. Some may charge you $1 million if you want a good lawyer. So it wasn't that they didn't have money, because they actually did. But then you said they didn't have money. They could just railroad him. They had the trial, sentenced him, and sent him to prison the same day. I think that they didn't think maybe anybody were going to say anything, because if you guys think about it, they did the gag order in which they told them they couldn't talk about it. But now that I go back and think about this, they were the only ones not talking about it, because they were still talking about it on social media. So ultimately, that gag order really only stopped them, because they had their mouthpiece. Sarah was still on social media running her mouth and making up lies, but they really never got the opportunity to tell their story. So essentially, and even in all honesty, somebody that lives down there in Texas, in that area, thought that it was over. They said they didn't even know that the trial was still going on. So from my understanding, they did not even talk about it a lot. And I think that was partially the reason to just keep it hush hush, which is crazy, because a kid gets unalived. Seemed like you would be talking about that, but for some reason, did not want that information to be talked about very much, which is kind of goes to what they had decided to do. Because you even said, Dwayne, that you had information that they were going to give him 35 years before he even got 35 years.
Correct. I was telling Tiffany and Tiffany Billions and all of them, we need to get with the family, have them fire Mike Howard, put in the motions ourselves, and have someone go argue them, because if he went to trial, he was going to get 30 years. That was my stance from last September, going all the way up till March of this year. And I tried, and that's why you heard Andrew Anthony in that press conference after the fact say, I wish I would have went rogue and spoke to those people they said that I shouldn't have talked to, because he knew that. He knew that that was an error, because he was listening to those people who were setting his child up to be railroaded. And so, and even to that point, when you go back and look at this case in totality, there was just a lot of red flags that could have been avoided, and he could have been not in this position. But because of what they wanted and what they did and how they did it, was the telltale sign that the fight was fixed, and there was nothing the family could do to get out of it, because they didn't know. Again, this man was a finance manager for a large car dealership. He made a lot of money. His wife did not have to work. She made sure the family was good. They were in a gated community. And even the judge at sentencing told Karmelo that you're not going back to your nice house now. And I'm paraphrasing, but there was some more added to that. And so at the end of the day, that is the issue here. That family was a upper middle class, well-to-do family. They did get the American dream when they came here to Texas. They did all those things. They had a great nucleus. They still do. That is a great man and a great woman raising a great family. And what they did not like is that. And every person that is on that side that helped railroad Karmelo did not like that. They were jealous of everything that was, and they put themselves in position to make sure that they broke this family. That's all it is. They broke them, and in breaking them, that is what got a lot of our attention. And I'll be full disclosure. I take my grandkids to the mall every year, and I buy them Jordans for school every year. I happened to actually meet Karmelo at Foot Locker. He helped myself, my grandkids, and my daughter-in-law to buy their shoes. And he was just as memorable and just as polite, helped us with a smile. And I didn't even put two and two together. It was my grandson that recognized his face one day as I was working on the case. And he saw me. He was like, Grandpa, that's the dude that helped us out with my shoes. He remembered. And so at the end of the day, that is what this young man was doing. He was giving back to the community as a teenager, helping the Special Olympics, protecting kids in wheelchairs from bullies. He was doing that kind of stuff, saving a young person in Mississippi from drowning. That's Karmelo Sincere Anthony. But they just sacrificed him in this community for the greater protection of their bullies. That's all they did. And that seems to be the mantra in this country, is that we will protect bullies at all costs, but we're going to make the victim the one that has to pay the price for the bullies. And that's what this boiled down to. And it's sickening, and it's a problem that we need to deal with and address in this country, and especially in Texas.
Right. And a judge, I hope you guys heard what Dwayne said, making a statement saying you're not going back to your nice house today. I mean, I don't know what that is. Like, I've never heard of anything like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And also, you know, they said that Jeff Metcalf was telling Karmelo. Now, this is at the time that Jeff is giving his victim impact statement, and he's telling Karmelo, you don't deserve the things that you have. And I'm
Correct.
like, this is just weird. It seems, I've never heard of anything like this. Are you grieving from your son, or are you angered at what a Black person has? I thought that was really odd.
They were jealous of everything that family accomplished. They were jealous that Karmelo was able to drive nice vehicles and still work. It ain't like Karmelo was just sitting around and going to school and going to track, going to football and coming home. That young man was working. He was volunteering. He was doing all those things, and they were all angry because guess what? Jeff and Megan's life is horrible. They went through the things they went through in their marriage, got divorced because of what they went through, alleged domestic violence stuff, all that stuff. We even have it alleged that Megan took the twins down to Houston to run away from Jeff at some point in time a few years ago. But they see that one twin was living with Megan, which was Austin. Hunter was living with Jeff. So you're jealous that this family is living on the hill, is what you're looking at them as, in a gated community, and you're jealous of that moment from the mama to the daddy to the kids. And that's a sad moment. And you're a realtor. Go out there and make the money and get what you want. But instead, you were at home chilling because your son broke your collarbone. That's the reason why you're mad. And so those are things that's crazy. And I think they asked a question about Kayla. Kayla did say that she wished that she had went that day. And I do know that she did not go for whatever reason. I don't think she addressed it. That could be a reason, because we were under thunderstorm warnings. We were under a tornado watch. We were under a flood watch in North Texas, in the Frisco and Little Elm area, because that's where I was staying at the time, in Little Elm, which is right next to Frisco. And so the bus drivers, and I know this for a fact, the bus drivers, around the time that the twins were messing with the young lady at Emerson, the bus drivers wanted to take all the kids back to the schools because they were concerned about the weather. They were overruled by the school district and by the officials because they wanted to take them back. And I know this for a fact because I heard that from the actual bus drivers. And they stayed, and then we get the Karmelo Anthony case. And that's why I know that this district is going to be responsible legally toward all of those kids, not just the Anthonys, not just the Metcalfs, but toward every kid that was there, because they dropped the ball on several things. And so, yes, that is a true statement that she did not go there, and she wished she had. We just don't know whether it was because of the weather, because the weather was bad. I would assume that that would be the reason.
She did
And all
say
of
that.
that.
Yeah. So she
Yeah,
did say it was because of the weather. But if I'm correct, if I remember correctly, I thought she said that Karmelo just told her just stay at home, the weather, whatever. But she did
yeah,
say that. I believe I don't remember which interview, but she did say it was because of the weather. And
yeah,
she felt bad because she was like, dang, I wish I would have went. Now we
yeah.
got another one here, Dwayne, and let's see here. Aisha, the best engager, thank you for your super chat. Fallon requested that the U.S. flag be flown over the Capitol for Austin.
Correct. Correct. He did. And again, he had a lot of emotional attachment to this thing, even more so than what Jeff and Megan showed. And so that tells me he had an actual personal investment in this case. That means that your son allegedly was probably involved. So, Mr. Fallon, I would ask that question. What do you know, sir, that we don't know? What are you hiding that we don't know, sir? Because I need to know. Because I ain't scared because you're a U.S. Congressperson. That y'all don't move me or shake me. So at the end of the day, I need to know. As a U.S. veteran, I need to know what you had going on, sir.
Right, right. Yeah, it's definitely, I think you definitely on to something there with that. But it seemed like a lot of other people are looking in that same area. And even in the chat, they're like, he did this. I didn't know any of these things. So it really, this is, people die every day, don't they? But come on now.
Every day. Every day.
This is,
Yeah, every day.
what is this? I don't know. It definitely gives. I thought this was something weird too. I'm going to put this on the screen. Not this one. Wait a minute. Because I had to look this up, and he's married. Isn't that correct?
Correct. He's supposed to be married. Yes.
We'll get into this. He says, I love democracy, bacon, dogs, music, Christmas, Christians, Hindus, Jews, Buddhists, women who show their hair. I always find that weird when married men talk about the women that they love. Shouldn't you be talking about your wife? That's who you love, right? So I thought this was
That should be.
He loved women. That's
Yeah.
plural. Women is plural. It don't say the woman or my woman. He says he loves women who show their hair. And I was like, is this man married? Yes, he in fact married, but in a post he's saying he loved women. I said, oh
Yeah.
okay. All right.
It's weird behavior. It's weird behavior for a grown man who is representing this state in this country, and that's what you are posting. It's just weird.
Yeah, he loved women who wear their natural hair. So if
And
go ahead.
I guess that's the reason why Sarah was all up under him like she was. Was her hair down?
Hair, I don't know. So if Hunter was living with Jeff, why was he now living with Megan than with Austin's girlfriend? Did you hear about that? Now that's something else. Is he really?
Yeah.
Listen, she said, is he really Austin and Hunter is dead?
you can ask all those questions. We know Austin was the bigger twin. He was the more like twin. So
right. What's the deal with the girlfriend situation now? I've been hearing a lot about that. They're saying that somebody even told me, and I'm just like, listen, I don't know. They said that Austin is living or had been living with Hunter's girlfriend, had taken her to prom. Now, I don't know if this part is really exaggerated because, sometimes they can get to going with the stories. Then somebody else said, well, she's pregnant now. I'm just like, listen, I don't know. But did you hear anything about Hunter now dating Austin's ex-girlfriend?
Yeah, that's true. As soon as Austin was gone and went to go and take his nap, we saw Hunter start driving Austin's truck. After he started driving his truck, he took Austin's girlfriend to the prom. So we have the pictures to prove it. And after he took her to the prom, there shortly after they started dating. We have pictures of them with the hands interlocked and in the dating pose. Megan said, and this is Megan, her own words on TikTok. They love to go on TikTok. And so she said that he could not walk by Austin's room at her house. So he had to go and stay with the girlfriend. Now, Hunter stayed with his daddy. So that's the first red flag. Why would he be at your house when he stayed with the daddy and he had to walk by Austin's room? So if he had to walk by Austin's room, wouldn't he just go back to his dad's house? But instead, he's over there with the ex-girlfriend of, or say the widow girlfriend of Austin. And now y'all are dating and all friends, buddies, and whatever y'all got going down. So it's just weird all the way around. It's just a weird moment. Your twin, the person you say is your best friend that you couldn't live without, now you are intimately involved with his girlfriend.
Yeah,
that's sick. That's a sick behavior. That's sick behavior.
When that was stated, I said, I don't even know. This is seeming a little crazy. Yeah. So I never talked about it because it seemed made up. I said, no, that couldn't be serious. But yeah, a lot of people were definitely saying that Hunter Metcalf is now in a relationship with his deceased brother's girlfriend. I said,
correct.
Maybe they just do that in the white households because I ain't never heard of nothing like that.
I ain't never seen that in the black community. That somebody, now I've seen some folks actually, you know, a brother passes away and they step up and they get into there and start helping the wife and helping the kids, and maybe 10 years later, now all of a sudden they didn't fall in love with each other because of that time. I've seen that happen before. But I've never seen this man been gone, not even a week or two, and then you got his truck, you got his girl, and now you intimately involved with her all within a month. I ain't never seen that in my life. Yeah, and so, yeah.
I thought it was messed up.
Yeah, and then just to piggyback on what we said earlier, Sarah did have her hair out and flowing. She did not have it in the bun. It's actually out and flowing with those cowboy boots she had on. And so he was really loving that moment. Yeah, he was loving that moment because that's what he liked. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Ooh, a piece of trash. I said, he said,
all that.
Man, is this man married? What is
wow. She showed up with her hair flowing for that moment. Yes, she did.
He said his women. And that's why I was like, well, is he married? This is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely crazy. Let me see what they're saying in the chat. But yes, I know you had sent this one. What is this one right here, Dwayne?
This is actually the roster of, you go to this Mouse Split, Texas, anybody can go to it. And if you just go in and put in Frisco Memorial, and you can go to the year, as you see, this is the 24-25 school year. So that's what they were running track in at that time. So this is the roster of that team. So that's why you see the person put the arrow. And if you go to the next one, it actually shows the people that's on the roster. And if you go down there, you'll see young Mr. Fallon. You'll see that he's actually on the track roster.
Okay.
For that time. Yeah. So you can go and look it up. And I think he's currently on there now as well for this season coming up. But if you go to the 24-25 and 25-26, is how I usually look it up, to see if they're still on the team after the fact. But he was on that roster that school year during that time that they were actually running track. So yes, he's on there.
Dwayne, I see this. I done saw this question in the chat a few times. They keep saying, what happened to Karmelo's phone that day? Was it stolen? I heard people say that they broke his phone up. Was there ever any information as to what happened to Karmelo's phone that day?
We know that just from what Jeff and Hunter was saying, I think all his stuff was taken from him that day, because they were taking and moving him like he was a rag doll. So Kid said that his phone was taken and thrown. I don't know if it was broken. His bag was taken and thrown. We know that from Jeff Metcalf himself and from Hunter, because Jeff said he know because he saw it. He was there. Were you? That's Jeff Metcalf's word, not mine. And so, so he said that. So yes, his items were taken from him. They took Karmelo stuff from him. The twins and their friends did. Was it broken? I don't know. The police has his phone. So they took all that stuff as evidence from Karmelo. The phone, his book bag, everything he had in it, the contents, all that stuff was taken from him.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Right. Okay. I want to just look at some of these other pictures that you sent. And of course, this is what is his name? Okay. He shows his name as
Yeah,
Nick on his social media. This is the son, right?
correct.
This
Yes,
is
this is the son of Mr. Fallon.
okay. And he goes by Mech Bones.
And I think it's his name because that's how he's listed as well on the
Oh,
actual Max Preps. If you look at here, it shows him as Mac Fallon.
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, he graduated in 2028, so that's why you see the 28 right there, and it shows you the check marks of what he actually participated in. But I guess they named him Mac, so his name is Mac Fallon, MACK. He just has MAC on there.
Okay. These are just some more pictures. I think I showed
And
that.
you see down there, Hunter is liking them all.
Yeah, I
He's
saw
right
that.
down the lights. Yeah.
Is he in this one though? Because I can't get a good idea of what this kid looks like.
I see Hunter. Hunter is right there to the second one to the right, and I think Mac is in there as well. Because this is actually on Hunter's page.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that he's supposed to be in there. From what the person that sent me, I just really didn't go through it all and look at it, but
It's
they were
hard.
sending me all the pictures.
Gotcha. Okay, it's just hard to see his face with the helmet on, and then this was on Hunter.
Well, there's a photo of him and his dad, and I think I may have to go through the collage of photos that I had because there is a photo of him and his dad standing together, and you can clearly see his face because he looks very young, even though he's a tall guy. He looks very young, and so that is definitely his face.
Did you say 28? He graduates
28. He graduated. Yeah,
So
this is his senior. He's going into sophomore, junior, somewhere in that moment, depending on his classification. But he's going to be the quarterback this year. So, but it said 2028 is when he graduates.
Well, they can be. You don't have to be a junior or a senior to play varsity, right? You can just be.
You don't. You can play varsity as a freshman. And guess what? We got to remember as well that that Hunter and Austin were held back a year so they can compete better. So they're supposed to have been graduating with Karmelo at the last year, and they didn't because the year before last because of them being reclassified. And so since they were reclassified, that's why they both were supposed to graduate this year, because they couldn't compete with the other folks that was their age.
Somebody said, okay, I'm going to answer this one. Could the prosecution try to make an issue about Karmelo's doctor allowing him to play football with him having epilepsy? So I know because when you play sports, you actually have to get cleared by your doctor. And I mean, it just pretty much, it's kind of like a standard clearance. Like you can have epilepsy, you can have all kind of stuff and still play. You can play football, sports. So that does, just because you have epilepsy don't mean that you can't play sports. So I don't know what they would make about it. I mean, you just literally go in and the doctor will say, based on your illness, can you play sports? He can play sports. I mean, people have worse, or I think if you had like a heart condition or something, they probably would say, nah, but not epilepsy. I mean, people have a lot of different conditions and they still play sports. So I don't know why the prosecution can make an issue about it, because if I'm correct, I believe they didn't even allow that information back into court. Also, Dwayne, now I'm thinking about this too. Yeah, they're playing games with these transcripts. I'm about to send them an email every day because they have not responded. I requested the transcripts now, and I'm thinking it's been a week and they have not responded. I've left messages, I've sent emails, and nobody has responded.
Yeah, and the same here. They give you the game that the regular court reporter has to go. You have to go to the other dude, and they just haven't responded at all of saying it's ready, not ready, or anything. And someone did. I let me say the name of the representative again. His name is Patrick Edward Fallon is his name. That's the daddy. He goes by Pat Fallon, and he is a United States representative representing the state of one of the representatives representing the state of Texas. He was born actually in Pittsfield, Massachusetts. That's where he's from. He is married because he does have a spouse. He's 58 years old, and her name is Miss Susan Fallon. He has children. He has two. One that we're talking about, Matt, and he has another one that's named Thomas. And so at the end of the day, he went to Notre Dame. That's his education, so people can understand exactly who he is. So he held previous offices in the state Senate, the Texas State Senate, from 2019 to 2021, and he is a member of the Republican Party. So that is Representative Pat Fallon, or if you want to go by his government name, which is Patrick Edward Fallon is his full name.
Right. So you know what? I went over here to LinkedIn, and Jeff is here on LinkedIn. So it looks like he's working at Keller Williams. Yeah, that was the last one. Yeah, Keller Williams. Yeah. Looks like that was the last place he worked at.
Yeah, he was at another place too before that, and I don't remember the name of it, but I know they're out of the Austin area, so he was representing them up here in the DFW area.
It is right here. Let me see. Let me show you. So he worked at the Christine Cannon team. It looks like Keller Williams, and then Realty, Better Homes and Gardens. Is this was his job the whole time? Because I wouldn't imagine anybody want to do any business with this man with this type of
attitude. Yeah, he's been doing it, I think 20 years, they said, 22 years. He was supposed to be in the realtor. So he's been doing it for a while.
He doesn't have any, sometimes people have recommendations, but he doesn't have any.
Because they don't want to recommend them, because he's a hothead. That's what I've heard across the industry. He's a hothead. He doesn't work well with others, and he's a bully. And then we know his other tendencies. So because he don't like people that look like us too much. So that's just what that is. Because they made a concerted effort to talk about the blacks that's in the community that support him and his family throughout this moment. It's like, why do you have to say that? Frisco, the city of Frisco is a multicultural area, and it's got some of everybody in it. So why couldn't you just say the community supported you and your family?
Right. Scorched y'all with these damn names. I'm gonna try. What is it? Scorched. What does it say? Scorched Earth. Okay, 824. Yeah. My opinion, Austin and Eddie had a man crush with each other. Hunter was always with old girl. Was a cover up to hide the man crush. Cain and Abel effect. Yeah, that's kind of weird.
You're going down a tree hole. Now, I'm gonna tell you this. There are many rumors by the kids, and I'll just say the kids. So that means the students that go to the appropriate schools, whether it's in Frisco ISD, Little Elm ISD, Prosper, so on and so forth. There's a lot of allegations about the reason why everybody was acting the way they was acting, from Edwin Parra to Austin and Hunter, to some of the other kids that was dealing with this, and Anthony Mendoza, all of them. I think they all had various type of reasoning to why they were doing what they were doing. Remember, Edwin Parra, EP, was supposed to be Karmelo's friend. He was the one that befriended him when he first came to Frisco. But yet you stood on the stand and said you did not know him at all, when you knew that there was multiple photos and videos that stated that you were connected to Karmelo, and the way that you looked at him and talked to him and sat on the bench next to him at different events, 707 track and all that, it was almost like he was crushing on Karmelo as well, to be honest with you, if we're just going to talk about the crushes. And so I think that we need to roll into all that moment. And I think I have to also interject with that as well, that Mr. Fallon has a clothing business. He's tired from the military. He has business ventures and everything as well. It's kind of a known moment that he has going down, and they have done multiple moments of business with the judicial system as well. So they have campaign donations. They have all that stuff. So it's so many tie-ins into this moment as far as the community, where it became emotions. It became people, as he said, people's crushes, what they like about each other, what they didn't like about each other, business relationships that they had going, protecting that said business relationships because of what happened. Because trust me, these things can make or break you in the political atmosphere and business atmosphere based on what happened and how it happened. And so those are things we're still digging into. And if we do show any connection in between the judges, Jeff Metcalf, all them people, outside of just knowing Representative Fallon, then we're going to definitely talk about it, because it opens up a whole other can of worms as to why they will move like they're moving and try to railroad Karmelo to cover up the things that allegedly I think that their own kids caused.
Right. And you know what? It's interesting that a lot of people are saying the same thing, because somebody actually sent me a message and they said the same thing that somebody put in the chat as it relates to Pat Fallon going on his social media and going against a judge. Though, how weird is that? You are a U.S. and you're going against a judge? Come on now, you shouldn't do that. But they're saying the same thing, that he went against the judge and they found that to be very strange.
He did
do something like that, because typically what you do, especially when you have a position like that, is you potentially, when you make those sort of claims against a judge, you can put the judge in harm's way. So the fact that you go on your social media and say some stupid crap like this, when this woman is just simply doing her job, she's just doing her job.
And especially when you're a U.S. representative, you work in Congress on the government side, on the federal government side. What purpose and attachment do you have to a sitting judge in Collin County in the circuit court to make a bail hearing ruling? What connection is that for you to be on the national level scolding her for reducing the bond? That means you had a personal tie to the situation that she was dealing with.
Okay, Dwayne, we got a question for you. And I did say this. I think I heard Dwayne say on another live that if they won't release the info by FOIA request, is that the FOIA request? Is that the FOIA
Correct
request? Okay, that he could file a lawsuit to get it. Please explain how.
Basically, since I put in FOIA requests for all of these documents in the beginning, and the AG made his ruling back last year about holding it off until the case is over with. And now that the case is over with and they have not released it, I've started the process, and others have too, of first emailing them and contacting them and reminding them that, hey, the case is over with, it's been adjudicated, give us our information. Then I also put in some on that. I put in fresh FOIA requests. So just in case you forgot about mine, let me request it again and see what you say. And that's what triggered them to actually, in some cases, like in court, in the case of, I think the body cam or something else, they said that we're going to actually ask for another ruling on it because we don't want to release it. If they do not release it to me after we go through the AG moment of getting him to make a ruling on it, and if he say they have to release it, they have to release it. If he covers them and say they don't, then at that point, I have the right and others have the right to sue them in federal court to get it released. And that's the process of doing that. I've done it before with other people. I've actually went through this process here recently with another case that I was advocating on. And when I sent the letter to them and just a straight email, they in return within about 3 weeks sent me the information. I didn't have to go through all that because they don't want that fight, because it comes with them being embarrassed and also comes with money because they had harm.
Right. And generally, guys, the open, I don't know the exact, because each state is different, request for information, stuff like that is public information. So it's not like there's a law that they don't have to give it to you. This is like public information. Anybody can get it. So typically it's not something that they tell you can't get. So what Dwayne is saying, if he were to sue them, now it looks crazy because now people are like, why are you not releasing this information. Typically, you know, it's information that they release. Move Shaker 777. Thanks for your $4.99. Edward Gilbert 3232. You say there's an update on the little girl that was missing in South Carolina. Who are you talking about? Aaliyah? No, because she was missing from, I don't know who the little girl is.
There's a lot of them right now that's out there missing. So
Right.
I don't know which one that is either.
Right. All right. So Dwayne, we will have you back at some point. Like I said, I'm trying to bring this attorney over on TikTok. He definitely is a Karmelo supporter. And I want to hear, you know, his take on things, because from actually, let me see if I can bring it up. I'm in my, let me see if I can get over on TikTok, because I'm on my different account.
Okay, and while you do that, just so people can understand, FOIA is the federal law that gives you the right to get public information. It's the Freedom of Information Act. And so many states and municipalities, they call it different things, PIR, public information request, open records request. It's called all kinds of things. But FOIA is the overall law, federal law, that says that every public institution and some private have to give you the information that's owned by the public. And that's all that it is when someone says FOIA. It's the same thing as open records, PIR, public information requests, or just open records. That's all that is.
All right, give me a second. All right, here it is right here. All right, guys, let's just go to his page, because I'm not sure which video it is, but his name is Kevin. He does a lot of content over on his page. And let's see which one it was. Let's look at this one.
I think that racist white people get upset over the Karmelo Anthony case and the possibility of there being a new trial. You know, there was a motion for a new trial that was filed along with a number of other post-trial motions. There's been an appeal that's filed. Those are separate deals. You have the appellate track that's going on, and then the motion for the new trial, which is heard by the same judge that was presided over the trial, and that gave Karmelo Anthony a 35-year sentence, which was the maximum he could give, because Karmelo Anthony was a child at the time. He was the crime for which he was found guilty was committed. So yeah, he's got a great legal team with him. I think it's going to be helpful to him. Again, new trial motion, huge long shot. An appellate action in general is a long shot. Texas is not real friendly to that kind of thing. Most states are not. They want some sort of finality. And I think this, you know, there could be some success on appeal based on the jury composition. Talked about this a lot, but the fact that there were no white jurors, and that it was objected to by the defense. It looks like that the prosecution excluded people because they were Black. Now, they didn't say this explicitly. They rarely ever do, because saying it explicitly is automatic grounds for a new trial. But there were some instances where it looks like it's certainly arguable. It really depends on the kind of appellate panel you get in Texas. There'd be, you know, multiple chances on appeal, you know, appealing up if you lose the first round, trying to get them to grant to hear the other appeal. And it may just be summarily denied both times. You just don't know. And then you've got potential Supreme Court action. It's a state action, though, because you're dealing with a state crime. However, there may be some federal issues that come into play. But that not at this point. But it looks like largely state actions in Texas. So we'll see what happens. I just continue to be amazed that people get so pissed off about it. I mean, we have an adversarial system. We have people that argue on both sides. So, you know, that's just the way it goes. If you don't like that, if that pisses you off, just don't watch my channel. Just don't watch it. You don't need to insult me, you know, make threats, all that kind of stuff. That's pretty pathetic anyways. You're a loser if you typically do those kinds of things. But that's what America is. I'm a lawyer. I've handled criminal cases. I primarily deal with civil litigation, represent disabled people, but I have done federal appeals, state appeals, and, you know, I'm just offering my opinion. That's America. I've done TV legal commentary quite a bit. They ask for my comments on these types of issues in local news stations. So I give them. People like to know. And if you don't like that, well, that's your problem.
Now, I want to show you guys this video. I found it now. In this video, he talks about the knife and, you know, it's not being completely open. That's the video that I wanted to show you guys. I finally found it. Let's see here. It is right. Where did it go? Oh, right here.
On the Karmelo Anthony appeal, one of the things that I think might get some attention and that may warrant a new trial are just the issues surrounding the knife, the so-called murder weapon. I don't think it was murder, but we'll call it murder weapon because that's what the jury said, even though I disagree with the jury. Their verdict may still get thrown out. But it was found and it wasn't locked. Like it's sort of like 3.
Isn't that what you said, Dwayne?
Correct. You're correct.
Yeah, that's what you're saying as well.
Quarter open, maybe, you know, a third of the way, half of the way. I don't think it was 3/4 of the way, but it was not fully open. And Karmelo Anthony supposedly nicked his hand. So that would tend to indicate that it was not like the premeditation that the prosecution argued. And that's very good evidence that it was just sort of, he was fumbling around and scared. And I'm really surprised this wasn't, I mean, I don't know how much it was fully, I would have talked a lot about it. I think it would have been, it could have supported that, the manslaughter charge, which is what, I don't think he should have gotten anything. But I think the manslaughter charge would have been more appropriate, a lot lesser sentence. And that may be ultimately what gets a new trial or reduction in the sentence. You know, he was under the age of 18 at the time, which is, so I think the 35 years was pretty harsh, quite frankly, given the fact that a lot of people that are similarly situated didn't get anywhere close to that amount. I think that's another major issue on appeal too. It's like, well, how are other people sentenced? It looks like it's racially motivated because these, you know, other people that are similarly situated that aren't Black got a lot less time.
And that is one of the problems. I mean, you gave a kid 35 years, and I like when we can see people that's not just Black that are able to speak up for what's right.
So I think, and that goes back to the jury selection where there were only white jurors, and why would a judge let this happen? Judges have control over jury selection, even though the lawyers make the selections. The judges can ultimately intervene and have a duty to, because they're the referees in the courtroom. And I just think it creates, there's just a lot of things sort of swirling around, which is why I think there's like a totality of the circumstances approach is definitely going to benefit on appeal. We'll just have to see. It's a hot button case. But I do think there are a number of things that could be argued, but that knife issue is pretty significant, quite frankly.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up, Dwayne, because he had spoke about the knife, and I know you had mentioned that. So that is, I'm trying to get him over here. So we've been in conversation, just trying to like align our schedule. So hopefully we'll, you know, get to see him in the next few days or so.
Okay, I'll definitely be tuning in. But yeah, I definitely thank you for today, and anytime I can be a help, you know, you just have to reach out to me.
All right. Thank you, Dwayne. You have a great rest of your 4th of July. Thanks for coming.
Most definitely. You guys take care. All right. Bye.
All right, guys. I hope everybody is enjoying their 4th of July. Your girl decided to cook something, child. I'm about to get back in here and cook my little food and relax. But I need you guys to make sure you are liking the damn video, okay? I done told y'all this over and over again. This is how we get the video through the algorithm. Now, if you support, I can't even talk. I'm trying to get to my food. If you support Karmelo Anthony, all your ass got to do is like the video. Why y'all sitting up in here playing with me, okay? It's the holiday. Like the video, okay? And if you want to send a super chat, you can do that as well. If you want to support the channel and just do Cash App, you can do that as well. It's going to be @ Lakeysha Keysha. I really appreciate you guys. Like I said, I'm lining up next week because we're going to kick their ass next week. If they thought we kicked their ass before, we finna really kick it next week, okay? So I will see y'all later. Like the video, hype the video up. Hit hype the video up. And I hope y'all are enjoying your holiday. And I will see y'all. I don't know if I'll be on here tomorrow. I think I may do a video or two, but I'll see you guys in the next video.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm listening. Go on. Yes, I'm typing it all down.
Clear, spilling tea, no fear. They talk loud, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. I don't lives right here. Spilling tea, no fear. I'm still here. Da 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 da. Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. They talk loud, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here. Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. I'm still here, no fear, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here. Make sure you subscribe to Lakeysha Keysha, my dear. I'm still here, no fear, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here. Stretch words like
Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. Make sure you subscribe to the Lakeysha Keysha channel.